Hi, welcome back to the Types of Heuristics lessons. Now, today we are going to look at creative model drawing, and again, how are we going to draw out a problem? Now, we are going to revise the elements of model drawing, and then we are going to visualize a problem by drawing out its model. So every problem has a unique model. So let's look at example 1, and let's highlight the important words and the numbers. Okay, now, Kumar baked some tarts. Alright, so let's highlight Kumar baked some tarts. He sold 4 to 5 tarts and donated 1/5 of the remaining tarts to a charitable organization. He had 8/15 of the tarts left. So how many tarts did he bake? Alright, so how do we draw out the problem? Now, when you draw out the problem, you are not thinking about how to solve. You are focusing on the sentences, and then you're drawing out every sentence along the way. So let's start with the first sentence. How do we draw the first sentence? Now, Kumar baked some tarts, so I would like to draw a rectangle to represent the tarts. And then he sold 425 tarts, so I'm going to cut 4 to 5, and I'm going to label. So good model drawing has good labeling. And then what happens? He donated 1/5 of the remaining tarts. So where are the remaining tarts? The remaining tarts is the right side of the model. All right, you can see there's a longer part. Right, this is the remaining tarts. And how do I interpret the fraction, which is 1/5 of the remaining tarts? It means you cut the remainder into 5 boxes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you label one box because he donated 1/5, which is one box, to charitable organization. And then keep reading. He had 8/15 of the tarts left. So which means that the rest of the remainder must be the leftover. And how do you interpret the 8/15? Now, it means that 8/15 of the tarts left is what? Is how many units in the model. So if you look at the model, these are all equal boxes, so you can call them units. So 8/15 of the tarts left. So which means that I can put my fraction onto the model. Right? Sometimes you can insert your fraction onto the model, and then you can see your 8/15 of the tarts left is actually 4 units. Okay, but let's not solve the problem yet because we haven't completed the whole drawing. So how many tarts did he bake? So you need to have question mark in the model. So this is to find altogether the tarts that he baked. Alright, now the model is done already. And if your model is fantastic, right? How do you know it's a good model when you don't have to read the question? You just look at the model and use the model to solve. So drawing comes first, solving comes later. So if you look at the model, you can see that 8/15 of the tarts left is also 4 units. So which means that, can I find how many units is 1/15 of the tarts? So you take 4 units and divide by 8. So 4 divided by 8, you will get 0.5 units. Okay, so let me just write down the statements. 4 units divided by 8, and you get half a unit. Alright, then after that, what can you do? Well, you can think about how many units of tarts did he bake. So that will be 15/15, which is one whole, or the whole rectangle. Right, so you are finding how many units is the whole rectangle, which is 15/15. So you take 15 times 0.5, and you will get 7.5 units. So whatever you have found, whatever answers or numbers you have found, you add on to the model to make it clearer. So it means that he has baked 7.5 units of tarts, right? And then if you continue to look at the model, can you now find how many units of tarts he sold? So if you look carefully, how many units is the sold? So you have 7.5 units, which is all the tarts that he baked, and you minus how many tarts donated to a charitable organization, and also how many tarts that are left. You can see that that will be 5 units, or rather, how many units is the remainder, which is 5 units. So, and that will give you 2.5 units, and that is the number of tarts that were sold. Okay, got it? Alright, so maybe let me just put the 2.5 unit in a better place. Alright, you can put it wherever you want, okay, but let's put it over here so that it looks nicer. Alright, now you can see that your 2.5 unit is 4 to 5. So which means that you can work out something. So 2.5 unit is equal to 425. So what is 1 unit? You will take 425 and you divide by 2.5 and you get a very nice number. So 425 divided by 2.5 and your 1 unit is 170. So the purpose of model drawing is to get your 1 unit. So once you can get 1 unit, you can solve the problem. So how many tarts did he bake? Which is 7.5 units. So you have 170, which is 1 unit, and you multiply by 7.5, and you will get 1275. So he has baked how many tarts? So he has baked 1275 tarts. Okay? And of course, whatever answers you found, you can add on to your model. So let me just erase the 7.5 units and let me just put it beside the question mark. So 1275, and you solve the problem using model drawing. Okay? Alright, now let's go on to the example 2, and once again let's see how do we draw out a problem which can be quite complex. Now Benny used 79 of his money to buy a toy car. He also wanted to buy a toy aeroplane which cost $40 more than the toy car, but he was short of $50. He doesn't have enough money to buy. So how much did the toy car cost? Now it looks very hard, and it's if you ask Mr. Ong what is the first step, again I can't tell you what's the first step because I don't know how to solve, but I can show you how to draw, and then after drawing then we see how to solve. Alright, so again you start from the beginning, and Benny used 79 of his money. So how do you draw that? You draw a rectangle and you cut into 9 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And he used 7 boxes. So you label 7 boxes to buy a toy car. So let's call it toy car, TC. Alright. He also wanted to buy. Okay, before we continue reading, don't put the units inside the boxes yet because he may need to cut. We are not sure. So leave the boxes empty. Don't write any units inside. So he also wanted to buy a toy aeroplane which cost $40 more than the toy car, but he was short of 50. So how do you draw that? Now, after buying the toy car, so can you see what is the leftover? Where is the leftover? This is the leftover, right? Okay, the leftover is the 2 boxes. And is he able to use the leftover money to buy a toy aeroplane? No, he couldn't, right? Because he was short of 50. So which means that you have to draw the shortage. So how do you draw out the shortage? Using dotted line. Okay, so dotted lines or dotted box represent what? Shortages. So you are going to put 50. And now with the 2 boxes that are left, and with the shortage, he is now able to buy the toy aeroplane. Okay, so how much did the toy car cost? So this is your question mark that you're asked to find. Alright, okay, so now we know that there's nothing else to draw, so we can now indicate the 1 unit and so on. Okay, and you can see that the toy car costs 7 units and the toy aeroplane costs 2 units and $50. Alright, but if you look at the question, how are you going to put this onto your model? Now the toy aeroplane costs $40 more than the toy car. Look at the toy car. Look at the model. How many units does a toy car cost? Isn't that 7 units? So which means that the toy aeroplane costs $40 more than the toy car, which is also 7 units. And you have to add another $40. So that is the cost of the toy aeroplane. Agree? Right? Because the toy car costs 7 units, right? And the toy aeroplane costs $40 more than the toy car. Isn't that 7 units plus 40? Alright, and then your model is done. Alright, that's how you complete your model. So you can see that every problem has a unique model. So we don't follow a certain type of model and we use that model to solve. Now we have to learn to draw out the sentence because every problem will give you a different kind of model. Alright, so now you look at the model and what can you do? Now you can see that what? You can see that the toy aeroplane, which is 2 units plus 50, is also the same as 7 units plus 40. Alright, agree? Alright, that's why the arrow sign tells you how much is what. Okay, now, then what do? You take out 2 units, take out 2 units. Alright, so you will have 5 units left. And then you take out $40, which is nothing. And then the 50, you take out 40, and you will get $10. So which means that your 5 unit is $10. So your 1 unit will be 10, and then divide by 5, and your 1 unit is $2. So now can you find the toy car? So the toy car costs 7 units. So you have 7 times 2, and the toy car costs 14. So now you can put the answer into the model. So the toy car costs $14. So it's a good habit that whatever numbers you have found, you put onto the model. So now you can indicate your final answer, which is 14. And there you go. Alright, using the model to solve the problem. So drawing comes first, solving comes later. So don't focus on the solving. If you know that you're going to use model, then what you do, you focus on the drawing first. Alright, now let's go to example number 3. And I'm sure you have seen this question quite often. Alright, so how do we draw the model? So once again, let's read. There were 1, 4, 2, 5 men and women at a concert. 3/5 of the men is equal to 2/3 of the women. Confusing, right? It looks quite hard. How many more men than women are there at the concert? Alright, so we are going to focus on the drawing. So there were 1, 4, 2, 5 men and women. So do I draw parcel model or do I draw comparison model? Well, you can play with that, and if you find that parcel model gets a little bit get you nowhere, then you can always try comparison model. So comparison model is you draw 2 rectangles side by side, right, beside each other. So there were 1, 4, 2, 5 men and women. So if you think the first sentence doesn't give you much information to draw, because you don't have a lot of details, right, to draw the model, go to the next sentence, and maybe the next sentence can give you some more information. So 3/5 of the man, can draw that already. The man has 5 boxes. So you draw 5 boxes, and 3 boxes is equal. So one of the foundation lessons of model drawing is to make use of dotted lines to show equal parts. So 3 boxes of the man is equal to 2/3 of the women, or equal to 2 boxes of the women. So I'm going to draw another equal parts, which is until the dotted line. Alright, so now you can see that 3 boxes of men is equal to the women, which has a rectangle, and I cut it into 2 boxes. So 3 boxes of the man is equal to 2 boxes of the women. And the women has altogether 3 boxes. So which means that I need to draw another box. Okay, so how many more men than women? So the arrow sign, and it shows how many more, which is the difference. Alright, and then what else do we do? Now we can put the total, right? The first sentence doesn't give us much clue on how to draw. So now you can go back to the first sentence and fill in, alright? Put the total onto the model. So 1, 4, 2, 5. And your model is done. So for this problem, the model will look like this. Alright, so if your model is well done, you don't need to look at the question. And what do? Now, you have 3 boxes equal to 2 boxes of the women. So can you make them all equal parts, or can you make them all equal? So how do you make 3 boxes to be equal to 2 boxes of women? You find the common multiple. You can do something like this. There are 2 boxes below and 3 boxes on top, right? If you compare the equal parts, right? If you compare this 3 boxes and these 2 boxes below, they are equal. So how do I cut them so that they all look the same? I just put 2 units. Why? Because below you have 2 boxes, and then inside the 2 boxes I put 3. Why 3? Because over here there are 3. Okay, so you put 3 unit and 3 unit. Okay, alright, and then continue to do the same for the rest of the model, and then here also 3 units. Okay, so now you can find how many more units are the men. So the man has 10 units. Alright, 10 units, and the women has 9 units, and you minus and you get 1 unit more. So there is 1 unit more of men, and how many is 1 unit, which is what we are supposed to find. Okay, so let's look at the model, and can we count the total units? The man has 10, the women has 9, so total will be 19 units. So 19 units will be equal to 1425, which is the total. So now you find 1 unit. So what is 1 unit? You take 1425 and then divide by 19. And what do you get? And you will get 75. So how many more men than women? Which is 1 unit more, and that is 75 more. And you have solved the problem, okay, by drawing out its model. So what's the lesson here? The lesson here is to focus on the sentences and draw out the sentence one by one. And as you keep drawing, the model becomes clearer, and then you will be able to use the model to solve the problem. Alright, now let's go to practice problem. Alright, now look at this practice problem, and it's a little harder than all the previous one. But let's see whether you are able to at least draw the model. You may not be able to solve it later on, but at least you are able to draw a decent model. So I'll give you about 10 minutes to try to draw the model, and then you see whether your model is almost similar to mine. Okay, so your 10 minutes starts now, and you can pause the video. Okay, so have you done up the model? Alright, let's look at the question. A chef had some potatoes. He used 27 of them on Wednesday and 19 of the rest on Thursday. Then he bought another 161 potatoes. In the end, he had as many potatoes as he had at first. So how many potatoes did he have at first? Alright, so we are going to draw, and it looks quite hard if you don't draw. Alright, and if you use branching, you can do branching. Yes, it's a good method, but again, there is not really a picture for you to see, because if you're able to see pictures, it helps you to see better. Alright, now let's look at the first sentence, and let's draw. Draw out the box. Alright, draw out a rectangle, which is all the potatoes. He used 27 of them. So what is 27? It means that them is all the potatoes that he bought, and there are 7 boxes of potatoes that he bought. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he used 2 boxes. And you label. Alright, and label Wednesday. Okay, that's how you draw the second part of the sentence. And then he used 19 of the rest. So where is the rest? Now the rest is over here. Alright, this is the rest of the potatoes. Alright, and you can see that there are 5 boxes, right? And he used 19 of the rest. So the rest has 9 boxes. And if you look at the blue color boxes, how many do you see? Only 5. Are you able to cut into 9? Because the rest has 9. So we cannot cut into 9. So what do we do? One of the foundation lessons on model drawing is whatever you cannot cut, alright, what do? You drop down. Drop down the remainder. Okay, or drop down the model if you cannot cut. And then now you can cut into 9 boxes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you can see it's not proportional. Not so nice. Alright, let's draw again and make it look more proportional. So I'm going to drop down again, and I have to cut into 9 equal boxes. So you have to try to estimate, right, so that all the 9 boxes look equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, looks much better. And then he used 1 over 9. So you label 1 box, and he used 1 over 9 on Thursday. Okay? Alright, then he bought another 161 potatoes. So what happened? He bought some more, right? So when you buy some more potatoes, how do you add on to your model? You draw dot box. Okay, you draw boxes with dot lines. Okay, dot lines. Alright, if it's a shortage, then you draw boxes with dotted lines. Alright, so this is 161 more potatoes that he bought. Alright, in the end, so where are the potatoes in the end? Okay, so we're going to add on to the model. So in the end means the potatoes will be all this in the end. Agree? Right? All these are the potatoes in the end. So let's call it up to you. How you want to label is up to you. In the end, the potatoes are as many, means equal to the potatoes he had at first, which is over here, at first. Okay, so you can see that at this point of time, I'm not thinking about how to solve. I'm just focusing on the drawing. So how many potatoes did he have at first? So that is your question mark. And your model is done. You can see that this picture, this question has a what? Has a different kind of model. Every problem has a unique model. Okay, now you look at the model and then you use it to solve the problem. So how do you solve the problem? Alright, so let's see. Now, can you see where is the remainder? The remainder is from here to here, right? You drop down, remember, you drop down the remainder. And then you look carefully. Can you see that 5 boxes on top, which is the remainder, is also the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 boxes below. So you have 5 boxes on top and 9 boxes below. So can you make them equal? Alright, can you cut them all into equal boxes? Yes, I can. If there are 5 boxes on top, which is the remainder, then I just put 5. 5 units. Okay, 5 units. So please don't cut, because if you start cutting, you will have too many boxes to count. Alright? And then what do I put above? If there are 9 boxes below that you drop down, then here will be 9, 9, 9, 9, and 9. And then if you count all the units, you have 45 units on top, and you also have 45 units below. So isn't that equal? Right? Okay, now, then what do you do with the, over here, also 9 units and 9 units. Alright, now you look at the model, and then you try to come up with something. Now, the number of potatoes at first, which is 45, which is how many units? 9, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, 7, alright, there are 7 boxes of potatoes at first. Inside every box is 9 units, and you have 7 boxes, so there are 63 units of potatoes at first. And then how many potatoes in the end? You start counting, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 boxes, and inside every box is 5 units. So you times 8, and you get 40 units. But don't forget, you must take 40 units plus 161. That will give you the potatoes in the end. Agree? Alright, and then what happened? Now, the potatoes at first, which is 63 units, is the same as or is equal to the potatoes in the end, which is 40 units plus 161. Okay, because that's what the question say. The potatoes in the end is the same as the potatoes at first. So now you have a statement, which is 63 units equal to 40 units plus 161. So you take out 40 units, here also take out 40 units, and you have 23 units that is equal to 161. So what is 1 unit? So 161 and then divide by 23, and you will get 7. So your 1 unit is 7. Alright, and you can solve the problem already. So how do you solve the problem? Look at the question mark. That's why your model should have a question mark. So how many potatoes are there? How many potatoes altogether did he have at first? So let's find the number of potatoes at first, which is altogether 63 units. Agree? Alright, so he has 63 units of potatoes at first. That is how many? So 63 times 1 unit is 7, and you get 441. And you have found the answer. So there are 441 potatoes at first. Alright, so you can see that what have I shown you? I've shown you that if you are skillful in drawing out the sentences, now no matter what kind of problem is given to you, alright, you are able to draw out the problem and show its model. And then using the model, you can solve the problem quite easily. Of course, there will be some problems that you cannot use model. Then you have to use assumption, you have to use grouping, working backwards, guess and check. Right? There are some problems that you are not able to draw model. But if questions that can use model, you should be drawing out the sentences and then look at the model you have drawn and then solve the problem. Alright, now the next lesson we will continue to look at more creative model drawing lessons. We're going to look at we're going to look at lessons on how to continue to draw out the problem, and then you can see for yourself how to solve the problem using the model. Alright, I'll see you in the next lesson.